Why do you get aroused and then lose your erection right before penetration? If this has happened to you, you probably remember the exact moment. Everything was working. You were aroused, present, connected, and then suddenly, right when it mattered most, the erection faded. And most men don't talk about this. You might feel embarrassed, confused, even worried that something is wrong with your body. But here's the truth. In most cases, this is not random, and it's not permanent. Usually, it comes down to three main factors: performance pressure, nervous system response, and unstable blood flow. And today, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens and what's going on in your body, clearly and directly. Because once you understand it, this stops feeling like a failure and starts making sense. Let's start with the most common cause: performance pressure. Even if you don't consciously feel anxious, the moment right before penetration often triggers a subtle shift in your mind. Until that point, everything is natural. There's no expectation, no test. But as soon as penetration becomes imminent, the brain can switch from experiencing the moment to evaluating it. Thoughts like, am I going to last long enough? What if I lose it? What if I disappoint her? They can appear quickly, sometimes almost unnoticed, but physiologically, they matter. Because an erection depends on your body being in a relaxed parasympathetic state, what we call rest and allow. The moment pressure or anxiety appears, your body shifts toward a sympathetic state, fight or flight. And in that state, your body redirects blood away from sexual function. So even if the arousal is still there mentally, the physical response can drop. That's why it often disappears suddenly. Now let's move to the second factor: nervous system overload. This goes beyond the moment itself. If you're already stressed, mentally overloaded, sleep-deprived, or constantly stimulated throughout the day, your nervous system may already be operating at a higher baseline of tension. And when your body is in that state, it becomes much more sensitive to small triggers. So that brief moment before penetration, even a tiny shift in thought, can be enough to disrupt the erection. Many men describe this as, I still want it, but my body doesn't respond the same way. That's not a lack of desire. That's a system that's not fully relaxed. Now, the third factor: blood flow stability. An erection is not just about getting hard. It's about maintaining that state. And that requires consistent, stable blood flow. If circulation is slightly compromised due to things like high blood pressure, poor conditioning, smoking, elevated blood sugar, or even fatigue, the erection may still happen initially, but it becomes more fragile. So when movement changes, when focus shifts, or when the body experiences even mild stress, the erection can fade more easily. This is why many men say, it was fine during foreplay, but didn't hold. It's not necessarily severe dysfunction, but it can be an early sign that the system is less resilient than before. Now, there are also secondary factors that can amplify this situation. Alcohol is a big one. It can increase confidence mentally, but reduce nerve sensitivity and blood flow physically. So while you may feel more relaxed, your body may be less capable of maintaining the erection. Another factor is overstimulation. If your brain becomes used to high levels of artificial stimulation, real-life intimacy may not trigger the same level of response. So the erection starts strong, but doesn't sustain. And then there's something important that happens after the first experience: the memory. If this situation happens once, especially in a stressful or embarrassing context, your brain may start anticipating it, and that anticipation creates pressure even before anything has gone wrong. This creates a cycle. You worry it might happen, your body becomes more tense, the erection becomes less stable, it happens again, and the cycle reinforces itself. Breaking this cycle is often the key. So what can you do? First, remove the idea that penetration is a test. The more you focus on performance, the more your body shifts away from the state needed to maintain an erection. Intimacy works best when it's experienced, not evaluated. Second, pay attention to your overall state, not just the moment. Sleep, stress, fatigue, mental overload, all of these influence how your body responds. If your system is constantly tense, your sexual response will reflect that. Third, support your physical foundation. Regular movement, better cardiovascular health, and reduced risk factors improve blood flow and make erections more stable. Fourth, be mindful of alcohol. It may feel like it helps, but physiologically, it often works against you. And finally, if this happens frequently or becomes consistent, it's worth looking a little deeper. A basic evaluation of blood pressure, blood sugar, and hormonal balance can provide clarity. Not because something is necessarily wrong, but because understanding your body removes uncertainty. And uncertainty is what often creates the most pressure. So if this has happened to you, you're not alone. This is one of the most common situations men experience, and one of the least talked about. And in many cases, it's not about your body failing, it's about your body reacting to pressure, stress, or subtle imbalances. Now I want to ask you something. Did this happen during a stressful period? Or did it come out of nowhere? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more clear, straightforward explanations about men's health, without confusion, without exaggeration, subscribe to the channel. Because in the next video, we're going to talk about another situation many men quietly deal with. Why erections can be strong when you're alone, but less reliable with a partner.